Hello and welcome. Thank you once again for joining me on my YouTube channel. Now, in the last video, we spoke about beginning the history of Mesoamerica, of telling the history of Native Americans, which is not being told, and how they lived their lives and why they did the things that they did. In this video, we're going to start our storytelling from roughly around 850 BC. Now, before I go any further, I'd like to thank Silvia Pinzon and Rita-Corozal for their stories and timeline that has come down through the ages. Now, also, I'd like to thank all my subscribers for joining me again. And if you see me for the very first time, please, and you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button, and I possibly could do with a share. Okay, and the story begins with a gentleman called Mig Chan. Mig Chan is in Auxillou, and his home is Saxia, which is Santa Rita in Corozal, the town of Corozal, Belize. We're going to pick up the story from here, and I hope I give it justice in the way that I tell the story. Right? It could actually be true, or it could be their fictional writing. But as with all fictional writing, based particularly, partially on factual events. So anyway. Let's begin the story with Mig Chan. As he waited patiently on the sand beach, waiting for the paddlers who crewed the dugout to arrive. The surf broke on the reef just offshore. It was never-ending pretty sight. But after 2 months of it, he'd had enough. He wanted his milpa, the fruit trees, his tame deer, turkeys, wife and children around him once more. They had all been drinking heavily last night of the wine made from honey and water. He himself had a severe headache that did not seem to go away with the rising sun. The bright light as the sun rose in the sky hurt his eyes. The 3 young girls at the thatched house who had served the wine and gone off on the beach with each of the traders during the night, in return for pretty stones, had not been bad. The really young one was very sweet. She had told him she liked him and wanted his baby. He wondered who her family were and why she had run away. He hadn't liked the older girl because she drank too much, and he didn't like women who drank. He checked his pouch ruefully. His wife was going to be angry, he thought. There was nearly nothing left from his trading trip north to Elba, along the reef. He had been gone for 2 months. She would be expecting more than what he brought back. He would tell her the high surf had rolled them over when crossing the reef to find a place to camp for the night on the way back, and they had lost most of their cargo. They were all going to have to get their stories straight so the details would agree, for the women tending to gossip together when washing. They would be sure to pick the tales to pieces in little bits. If there was any discrepancies, they would soon be in trouble. It wasn't that the trading trip hadn't gone well. It had, and they had made much. The trouble was the girls, the drinking, the partying all the way down the coast, and they spent nearly all their load. There was not going to be much left to split as shares among the crew when they got home to Saxia, which is, as I said before, Santa Rita-Corozal. 4 hours later, with the sun high in the sky, Auxillou and the great ocean barrier reef behind them, the sorry lot of paddlers swatted mosquitoes as they cleared the last of the mangrove crowding the passage behind the ocean and the inland bay. Barcalachico, the stream that separates Belize and Mexico today. Everybody had a headache, but he knew the paddling and the sweat would get rid of the unhealthy effects of the drink by the time they were 3 hours further west, near Rocky Point, down the bay with the trade winds behind their backs. They were not going to arrive at Rita-Corozal before night caught them, and it was probably going to be the middle of the night when the star formation of Orion would be high overhead before they arrived home. If they didn't get lost in the dark, there would probably be some fires along their habitation on the shore, making smoke for the mosquitoes, which just might give a beacon of direction during the paddling in the blackest part of the night. Unfortunately, there was no moon expected, but the starlight was quite bright. They would be able to see trees on the shoreline. He and his men would be glad to get home to their hammocks and wives. It had been a fun trip, just the thing to break the boredom from planting crops all the time. Not only did the Native Americans have a count for the year and months, but they also had a certain method of counting time, and their matters by ages, which they counted by 20-year periods, counting 13 20s with one of the 20 signs in their months, which they call Ahura, not in order, but going backwards as appears in the following circle design. In their language, they call these periods Katuns, which making a calculation of age that is marvelous. This is our first look into Mayan culture, Mayan way of life. Little by little, these stories put together give us an idea of what life was like in Mayan culture and how they evolved during the years and why they did the things that they did. Now, this is our first story of Michan, 850 BC. Our next story, right, will be somewhere 200 years later, and I hope I will see you in the next video for that story. And if you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button to get more videos on the Mayan history.